Christine Taylor Patton began a project to undertake to draw 2,000 drawings, one for each year of the Christian millennium. So she planned to do this starting around 1997, and she thought she'd get them done by the year 2000, which of course didn't happen because it's a much more complex project. But each of the drawings is numbered, AD 1, AD 2, AD 3, right the way through. I want to set this in the context of where this work is now going to go to. The director of the Istanbul Biennale is somebody called Carolyn Christoph Bakagiev. She says the international exhibition will present new works by over 50 artists and other practitioners in a city-wide exhibition on the Bosphorus that considers different frequencies and patterns of waves, the currents and densities of water, both visible and invisible, that poetically shape and transform the world. With and through art, we commit ourselves to the possibility of joy and vitality, leaping from form to flourishing life. Salt Water, a theory of thought forms, the 14th Istanbul Biennale, looks for where to draw the line, to draw upon, and to draw out through organic and non-linear forms that reconnect the research in art and its processes with other knowledges. What will be shown in Istanbul is from the year 1000 to 2000, so the more recent millennium. And the idea was that this device of setting a protocol of drawing a 1 inch by 1 inch square using a crow quill pen, that's to say a pen made from a crow's quill, so an organic pen, not a steel nib, nothing's going to harsh. There's very much an organic relationship with a certain kind of paper that itself has its own sort of levels of resistance to any mark that's made on it, so it's not a smooth surface, it's going to catch, it's going to produce a certain amount of resistance. And ink, so this has a certain kind of minimalist element. A square, an organic quill, the ink, and then off you go. And the idea is that each drawing creates a little event, and then out of those events all sorts of things could happen, but she's going to follow one, and then it will prompt the next one and prompt the next one. So when you look around, you are looking at a sequence in which there is no predestiny, there is no sense as to where once you put a dot and you split it, that you can see where the drawings will go to. So you're in a process as you move along the line of going alongside her own discovery. But of course these discoveries are themselves not instant, because each drawing may take about a week, because there is a very profound sense of exploration, even on this micro scale, of what could happen in relation to this fundamental tension between dark and light. This absolutely systematic, abstract practice of drawing that can, operates within some relation to what we could think of as both as minimalism, this idea of an art that sets itself its own protocol and then just follows it with logic, is in a sense a revelation of something which we could go to at the level of contemporary physics and contemporary thinkings about how actually matter and process in the physical world generates itself. What happens in the grand scale is not this density of all sorts of possibilities of drawing, but actually a similar kind of question is, what is the process of change? So what you have, most of her drawings start with just a line across them, and then what the drawing happens around it is to begin to map out some kind of sense of how a plane turns over, or what's the hinge point where difference actually occurs. And if I say those things, I'm describing what happens in the drawing, but the language in which I'm talking of the drawing is not that the drawing is illustrating. It is exactly that, but I'm forced in talking about it to begin to participate in the notion of change, of difference, and of transition. And this is a quote from her. In the illusion of complexity, in the illusion of repetition, of little movements. The universe is what it is, changing forms, changing illusions, changing metaphors, changing change. And by using such a simple tool, a tiny pen tip, a tiny bit of ink at a time, a tiny space on any size paper, I get to see more than when I try to look at it all at the same time. Its contradictions and baffling processes lead me to discovering the kinds of things that physicists discover when they watch atoms with their quarks and electrons, and the kinds of things that surgeons discover when they open up human beings' bodies, and the kind of things astronomers see when they take pictures of places millions of miles away and moving out. Because when a human being moves a hand and leaves a trace of that movement, part of the universe is being exposed. The second generation movement, the ink on the paper, mimics all other movements in the universe, irregular, baffling, metaphysical, abstract as well as concrete movement. I feel like I get an inside view of it all, trapped there for a while on that paper, trapped in time in my brain, ready to lend perspective to the next movement, changing the context of the next movement, the next stroke, the next day of this life.